This is the Agape Choir, and we came in, we opened up this month's box of Science of Mind magazine, and we find Michael Bernard Beckwith is on the cover. So it's like, oh, okay, I get why I was supposed to play that this morning. So, last week, for those of you who were here, we spent a great deal of time talking about time. So let me remind you of the Science of Mind definition of time. Time is not a thing of itself. It is simply a measure of experience in eternity. Time is necessary since it allows experience to take place within the one. But time is never a thing of itself. It is impossible to measure time, for yesterday is gone, and tomorrow has not come. And today is rapidly slipping away. So today is a gift. That's why we call it the present. Today is eternal. It's always today. We can only live today. Today is the tomorrow we're talking about. I can share you a story with you about how I learned this great scientific philosophy. Once when I was in a bar, I was a little younger. I was a lot younger. There was a sign on the bar. Free beer tomorrow. So the next day I was there. The sign still said free beer tomorrow. That left a powerful impact on me. I was thirsty, and it was still not tomorrow. It's always today. So our theme this month is where humanity and divinity meet. That's easy. They meet at Circle's Edge. The topic today, Build Our Tomorrow Today, was submitted by Sunshine Day, Spiritual Director of Downey, CSL. And as usual, I used a little of it. I will tell you, today is powerfully influenced by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. Some of today's topic will be original, but a lot of it comes from Eckhart Tolle. So I wanted to show you that book. And we have it in the lending library, and if not, here's a copy someone can borrow. All changes, adjustments, and shifts must happen today so we can experience the kind of tomorrow that we want, even without free beer. What we think, speak, believe, and do in this moment sets up our future. What future are you thinking yourself into? What future are you speaking yourself into? Words are powerful. What future are you believing yourself into? What future are you acting yourself into? This is the gift of now. We can deliberately use this moment to create the amazing life we deserve by consciously unifying ourselves with the power of good. From Words That Heal Today by our founder, Dr. Holmes, the living spirit is incarnated in every man's soul. The entire nature of the divine being is bequeathed to us. There is a law of spiritual authority which is at our command. Our command. No, I love baseball and softball. Played for many years. Standing in the batter's box, I look out. I scan the field. I'm looking for possibilities. Where are the fielders? The idea is hit it where they are not. That's where I want to hit the ball. When the pitch comes in, my eye is on the ball. I'm focused. I'm in alignment with the direction that I want to take that ball. It's coming in. Every action, there's a reaction. I'm going to swing. What am I doing? I'm building a new possibility. I'm building a base hit out of nothingness. Until the ball comes in, there's no base hit. It's a new example of creation. Creation comes out of the nothingness. Out of nothing, we create. The field and the players are all there. They have their own idea of what should happen, but I get to create whatever I can create. I see it with my mind's eye. The inner vision of hitting the ball where there's an open gap. That's my action. I assume the position, I swing. Sometimes I hit the ball, sometimes I don't. But I prepare myself for the success of hitting the ball in the gap. Ernest Holmes says, prepare yourself to receive the best life has to offer. Well, if I was really doing that, I'd prepare to hit it over the fence where there are no fielders. But no, I settle for in the gap. I wasn't a power hitter. Somehow it never occurred to me to stand in the batter's box and remember all those times I made a routine out or struck out. That's not the mental image I had. And it was successful pretty darn often. Too many times people promise themselves that tomorrow will be better, will be different. Yet because they don't prepare today, tomorrow is a repeat of today. That old cliche, if you do the same thing over and over and expect different results, definition of insanity, prepare today. We can consciously create a new, different life. When we awaken to the divine within us, we have everything to gain and nothing to lose. When we engage in the spiritual practices like prayer, meditation, imagining, visioning, visualization, sacred service, and anything else that reminds us and reinforces the absolute truth of who we are. That's when we're building a better tomorrow. So how do we begin to appreciate this moment in our lives? Wherever you are, be there completely. Be in the moment. Be in the now. Any action you take is better than doing nothing. Any action you take is better than doing nothing. Especially if you've been stuck in an unhappy situation for a long time. If you make a mistake, well, at least you learned something. You learned it was a mistake. Reach out and do it again, but do it differently. If you don't do anything, what happens? Nothing. Nothing. And that's what you learn too. Nothing. If you're truly in a situation that you can't change right now, make the best of it. Relax into the moment. Allow any resentment to fade away. Surrender to the moment. Don't be anxious. Waiting is a state of mind. It's not uncommon for people to spend their whole life waiting to start living. What are you waiting for? People wait to start families until the time is right. People wait to start or to change careers until they have more stability in their life. People wait for that dream vacation until they retire. Some people even wait to use grandma's fine china until the president or the Dalai Lama drops by. Stop it. Use it. Enjoy what you have. If you have material possessions you never look at, never use, they have lost their energetic value to you. Give them to someone else, who then will receive an energetic benefit. Every energetic benefit you can have help someone else have changes the universe. It changes them, it changes you, changes all of us. If you're waiting for something to happen, it means you don't want the present. And what is the present? Now. That's the present. Make the change. When you honor, you acknowledge, and fully accept your present reality, where you are, who you are, what you're doing right now, then, and only then, you fully accept what you've got. You're grateful for what you have, grateful for who you are, grateful for what is. You're grateful for being. Gratitude for the present moment and the fullest of life now is true prosperity. It can't come in the future. Then in time, that prosperity manifests in different ways, and it always comes to you if you have appreciation in the now. It can't resist you when you appreciate what you are and what you have now. In Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, he tells a story about waiting in a long line for a bank teller. And he was just waiting. And when he got up to the front, the teller apologized for keeping him waiting. And he looked at her and goes, "That's all right. I wasn't waiting. I was standing here enjoying myself. It's enjoy to be myself." That may not always be the way I have practiced waiting, but it is a noble goal for my future. And I would encourage all of us to try that. Now here's more Eckhart Tolle. Underneath your outer form, you're connected with something so vast, so immeasurable and sacred, that it cannot be conceived or spoken of. You are cut off from being as long as your mind takes up all your attention. When this happens, and it happens continuously for most people, you are not in your body. The mind absorbs all your consciousness and transforms it into mind chatter, mind stuff. You cannot stop thinking. Compulsive thinking has become a collective disease. Your whole sense of who you are is then derived from your mind activity. Your identity is no longer rooted in being. You become vulnerable, and your ever-needy mental constructs are ruling your life, which creates fear as the underlying emotion. Our brains are wired that way. They're all about self-preservation, worrying about living instead of living and loving. The one thing that matters is missing from your life when you're not aware of your deeper self. You've lost your invisible and indestructible reality. When you're worried about the future or spending too much time in the past, we lose our minds. Actually, we lose control of our minds. But really, it feels like you lost your mind. That takes our life and keeps us from sensing, from knowing our true inner selves. Living the Science of Mind, Dr. Holmes says, when we awaken to the divine within us, it will reach out and embrace everything around us. And it will discover the same presence in people, events, and in all nature. I like that one. For God is not separate from what He is doing. God is not separate from what He is doing. he, she, it. Dr. Holmes used he a lot. The divine life is everyone and everything. Living the Science of Mind. Personally, one of my favorite Dr. Holmes books. So let me ask you this. If today is a canceled check and tomorrow is a promissory note, what is today and how will you use it? Today is a canceled check, tomorrow is a promissory note. What is today? Well, you already know what you can do with that canceled check. Try taking that to the bank, waiting in line. But the teller's not going to give you anything. You've already received the value of that check. The point here is the past does not exist. It's just a memory. Each one of you, take a moment now. Point, which direction is the past? Is it behind you? Is that where it is? Well, look, do you see it back there? Is it following you around when you move? No, it's not. But as the answer, the past doesn't exist except here. Yet many people act as if the past is real, and they relive it over and over and over as if it's still happening right now. Something that doesn't exist can be so controlling and manipulative if we let it. Too many people spend time lamenting and regretting past choices. I like that, lamenting. That's a Bible term. Ooh, lamenting. You can't regret your past. That gives it power. Why not just accept we did what we did and we didn't do what we didn't do? Move on. Accept that what happened, happened, and what didn't happen, didn't happen. Learning experience, valuable. Every decision and non-decision made you who you are. And honestly, we're pretty happy with who you are. We like having you here today. We don't lament or regret any of your past decisions. We're happy with the version of you that walked in and sat down. Thank you for being here. So don't worry about that past. When we linger in and hold on to a past that doesn't exist, we miss the gift, and we create tomorrow with the monotonous repetition of our yesterdays. Monotonous repetition of our yesterdays. I wonder if I wrote that. I don't know if that was Tolley or me. It's in a paragraph I wrote. Maybe. Monotonous repetition of our yesterdays. I might make a poster of that. There's no sense in wasting time on something that doesn't exist. What happened in the past belongs in the past. And the stories we make up to tell ourselves about the past, let them go. We like stories. Write them down, burn them, let them go. Now I want to make a very important point, even more important than monotonous repetitions of yesterdays. These made-up stories that we tell ourselves and others about our past directly create our future. You cannot tell yourself a past story without impacting your future. You are creative. What your mind dwells on, it will deliver. It's how we lose our minds. We lose conscious control over the universal law that Spirit gave to us to use creatively. Like gravity, the law works whether we believe it or not. It even works whether we use it consciously or not. So let's learn to use the law the way it was intended to be used for our benefit and really the collective benefit of all humanity and all sentient beings, and Earth Mother, and the universe, and the cosmos. That's how powerful we are. Ernest Holmes reminds us, cut loose the threads of previous experiences and deliberately make up our minds that we shall no longer create our future out of the old past. When can we make up our minds? Today, now. It doesn't take months of vigorous energy to make up our minds. We can do it today. And that's from Dr. Holmes. In How to Use the Science of Mind, they quote, here's a quote. When Jesus said we should believe even before we receive, he was explaining the operation of the mental law of cause and effect. If nothing is believed in it, then nothing is acted upon by it. But since there is such a law, since we're always believing something, the law will always be operating upon what we believe, in the way we believe it. It is not that we're introducing a new law, but that we bring the law we're always using under conscious control, whether it be for ourselves or someone else. So one final Eckhart Tolle quote. I have this in bold, so take notes. You are here to enable the divine purpose of the universe to unfold. That is how important you are. I'll read it again. You are here to enable the divine purpose of the universe to unfold. That is how important you are. Now I'm going to close the same way I began. All changes, adjustments, and shifts must happen today so we can experience the kind of tomorrow we want. What we think, speak, believe, and do in this moment sets up our future. What future are you creating for yourself and the unfolding universe now? This is the gift of now. We can deliberately use this moment to create the amazing life we deserve by consciously unifying ourselves with the power of good. Namaste.
Namaste.
Now I will give you a final affirmation. So if it's comfortable, just relax. Close your eyes. And if it's comfortable, allow my words to be your words as I speak in the first person. Today, I consciously and powerfully let go of the past and create my life from love. I know I am part of the unfolding of the divine purpose of the entire universe. All that I must do is appreciate who I am, knowing that I am one with the creative source of all that is. And so it is.
So it is.